guys, I just wanted to start off the show with something that feels good because we're going to talk about a lot of topics today that are, well, not that good. You're watching Mirror Domain's Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. Guys, this is going to be a little bit of a different show format than we normally do. Normally, I start off right out of the gate with a big, huge story, and then I talk about the show. So if you haven't watched this before, welcome in the live chat. This is a live show. The Oscars this year was kind of bad, says Pomo. And if you're watching us live, I'll always participate with you guys in the live chat. I'll try to keep up with you as much as I can. And if you're watching us afterwards, all of these topics can be found in time codes in the links in the description and comment section below, and on that bar on YouTube. So we do have some unpleasantness to talk about today. It's about the fallout of the Oscars of last night's show, and some unpleasantness, putting it mildly, happened. But I want to get to that later on. I'm going to try to take us up, and then we'll go down to those lows, and then I'll try to bring us back up towards the end of the show. And I wanted to start off with some music there, just to set the tone, to know that, hey, you know what? There are better things out there than some of the things that happened last night. But let's go through the winners and talk about what happened in respect to the people who actually did win, and let's have some recognition here. Best Picture, Coda. I think that's a lot of people are saying that Power of the Dog and Dune, Belfast got all snubbed there for Best Picture, but West Side Story maybe. But Coda, I'm happy that Coda won because it was one of those feel-good movies, right? You got the impression that it was like this deaf family raises a daughter who wants to become a singer, and their struggles. So it felt like it was going to be one of those ones that we needed to have that cheer at the end, right? That pickup, and the guy winning for Best Actor, Supporting Actor for the Coda also was a real highlight, one of the highlights of the show. And we'll go through the show today. We'll talk about Army of the Dead winning a Best Oscar, unbelievable, or was some fan favorite Oscar. Really? We'll talk about that. Why was the Justice League the number one fan moment? And it wasn't even one of the best parts of Justice League. It was just Flash running. I was like, what? Come on, when Superman comes down in the black suit and he gets hit by the axe and he's kind of like saying, not impressed. Like, that was the best part. That was the best part of Justice League, but you chose the Flash running as the best part? I don't get that. But let's continue on with the Oscars here. Art Glass in the live chat says, yeah, he deserved it. Hey, arrest Will Smith. Live chat. You're going to have fun with that handle, with that name, I'm sure. Okay, the Best Director, Power of the Dog. And that was pretty much a given. A lot of the awards that came out yesterday pretty much went to script. Like, if you followed the award season and you saw who was winning, there was really no big deviations from that. So Jane Campion had won lots during the run up to this. So I felt like, yeah, that was pretty much a given. The only other person I think that maybe had a chance was maybe Brana, maybe, but he already won. So the Oscars just like to do that, and Jane Campion winning that was fine. Best Actor, we'll talk about that. That guy won. Best Actress, Jessica Chastain, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Now I was actually really happy about that because out of the other people there that were nominated, the only other person maybe that would have had a chance was Nicole Kidman. But I was so happy for Jessica to get that, because when you see her go through the transformation process of putting on all that makeup, and she really studied Tammy Faye to get those mannerisms in. So seeing her win, I follow Jessica on social media. So she just seems like a really cool person. Like a really cool person. Best Supporting Actor, Troy Kotsur from Coda. And yeah, I think that was well deserved. The only other person I think I could have made it in there was Kieran Hines for Belfast. But his speech too, Troy Kotsur's speech for Best Supporting Actor was really well done. And I liked the fact that they allowed him to get up there and have his time signing out his stuff. I thought it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love that moment. That was probably my favorite moment of the Oscars this year, was his speech. Yeah. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Fuzz in the live chat says, congrats, James. You had 600 people watching your channel last night. Well, yeah. Well, and it's got like over 12,000 views now. The thing is that I wanted to be honest with you guys, and I wanted to tell you guys how I felt about it and stuff like that. And I think that translated well. And we'll talk about that when we get to the bad story of the day, what I think the fallout should have been from last night. But I don't want to take away from the winners here. Best Supporting Actress, Ariana DeBose. She was really good in West Side Story, so I don't have any problem with that. I was kind of rooting for Kirsten Dunst in Power of the Dog. She was like, as boring as the Power of the Dog was, she was really a standout in it. She really was. You could tell that she was just going to that extra level. She tapped in to that extra ability that actors have sometimes that just make you totally believe that they're that person. And Kirsten Dunst, I felt like, yeah, Ariana DeBose was good too. So, yeah. Best Original Screenplay, Belfast, Kenneth Branagh won. And that's... like the only other person I think maybe had a chance was Don't Look Up for Adam McKay, but that one was so controversial with the political statements and everything. So Belfast, I was happy that Kenneth Branagh won. And Kenneth Branagh is a true mensch, and that's why I liked him in Death on the Nile and in that role, and because he's got a Shakespeare background too. It's just he's awesome. Pomo says in the live chat, it might have been embarrassing for Spielberg because West Side Story didn't win anything. Well, yeah, and that's... well, no, it did. West Side Story won for Best Supporting Actress, but he didn't win for Director, and it didn't win Best Picture, and it didn't win for Cinematography or Costume Design or anything like that. Best Supporting Actress is the only one I think that they won. Coda. But Dune won like 6, so that's really cool. Best Adapted Screenplay was Coda. Dune was up. Dune won. No, I don't think Dune should have won that. Power of the Dog, maybe. No, that screenplay was boring as all. Coda, yes. Okay. Animated feature film, Encanto. I think just the vibe of it. You know, when they were announcing this award, though, Fuzz says my favorite scene in the Oscars was the debacle, that scene with Chris and Will. Yeah, I think that will be the most talked about moment. But our Glass and Latch says so pleased for Kenneth Branagh, so much respect for the city where he grew up. Yeah, I need to really study in Belfast. Best animated feature was Encanto, but when they were reading off these nominees for the animated feature, it almost sounded like the crowd really loved the Mitchells and the versus the Machines. I felt like the response to it was going to be like, oh, well, maybe they're going to give it to the Mitchells versus the Machines. But Encanto won, and I liked the performance, the musical performance from Encanto. Best International Film, Drive My Car. And that was pretty much a given, I think, because it was nominated for Best Picture. And when you get that happening, when you get an international film also being nominated for Best Picture, then it's pretty much a shoo-in that they'll win that for Best International Feature. So let's go through the Best Documentary Feature. This is the one where Chris was presenting, and I feel bad for Summer of the Soul, because everybody who got up and had that a speech after, nobody was thinking about that. Best Documentary Short Subject, and these are the shorts that were filmed in between commercial breaks, and they put it in. I felt like this was handled fairly well. Best Live Action Short, The Long Kiss Goodbye, Riz Ahmed. And I liked Riz Ahmed's speech there. I liked his speech a lot. Best Animated Short, I didn't really know that. Okay, so here come the Dune Awards. You got Best Original Score for Hans Zimmer, who wasn't there last night, oddly enough. I guess he was out working. Oh, excuse me. And I like the score for Dune, but it's not a score that I can put on in the background and just kind of chill out to. It's just because it's got so many long segments of it just being one note, or kind of like that vibrato kind of thing that was going on in the score for like 2 or 3 minutes. And that's the score. It worked for the movie. But it's not a score that it's not like The Empire Strikes Back where I can just put on the score and just listen to it, right? But out of those scores that were nominated, I think that was the best one. Best original song went to Billie Eilish for No Time to Die. And you know what? When they did that performance, that won me over. That really won me over for their performance, because you really saw her open up her vocals, because you're always used to her quietly talking into the microphone as singing. But I like that a lot. I wasn't a fan of them opening the show with the song, though, from the King Richard. I wasn't a fan of that. Best sound, Dune. The only other people that I felt like had a chance was maybe No Time to Die. Best sound, though, yeah. Dune, that's one of the things that you talked about. You could hear the rumbling of the ships, and the sound design and mix was just so awesome. For sure, Dune. Cool, man. Production design, also Dune. Now that one I felt that one could have easily gone to Nightmare Alley. And talking about Spielberg not winning one, West Side Story, that it could have won for production design too. I think West Side Story could have walked away with that one. And if there was any questionable one for Dune winning one, I think this one was it, because if you've seen Nightmare Alley, the production design in that it's Del Toro, right? So he's always going to put all his best people in there, and that was probably one of the best things about Nightmare Alley was the production design, because it just swept you away into this other crafted universe that's just so dark and dismal, and it was great. Power of the Dog, no. Tragedy of Macbeth, possibly. That was good. Snuggins Booby says, why is everyone assuming Chris Rock knows Jada has up? Yeah, exactly, Snugs. Exactly. I didn't know that at the time. Like, well, I heard about it, but it didn't clue in to me when that happened. But we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get through some of the stories of the day. And it's going to be a bit of a longer show than normal today, guys, because we're going to get through some of these topics, and we'll take time to talk about the topics, especially the big one, the Will Smith one, and what I believe should happen for the fallout, because I do think that there's some. The Academy does need to put in some corrective measures to make sure that never happens again. Best cinematography, Dune. I don't think anybody would bat an eye at that one. The ships, the planets, it all looked awesome. They posted Hans Zimmer's Oscar to him. He had a picture with it in his dressing gown pocket. He's on a world tour in Amsterdam. Oh yeah, I think I knew that. I've seen Hans Zimmer doing these tours. Yeah, that's been trending in my feed. Art Glass in the live chat says, best makeup and hairstyling, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Yes, definitely. I agree with that one. We'll move through some of these quickly, because most people don't care about my thoughts about these lower ones. Best costume design, Cruella. That was kind of cool. Could have gone to Nightmare Alley, because the costuming in that one was beautiful too. Could have gone to West Side Story too. That's one then. West Side Story could have won. Best film editing, Dune. Out of those picks, most definitely. Best visual effects, Dune. No. That one I think should have gone to Spider-Man. Because when you look at the de-aging process, and now that we've seen it again, that Spider-Man's come out on digital release, like Doc Ock, his face looks so good with the de-aging. And then just the ending fighting sequence is just all of that stuff. When he's fighting Green Goblin in the apartment buildings, all of that stuff is so well done. Like the green screen stuff is so married in well. I thought Spider-Man No Way Home should have taken that over Dune. Yeah. Is that it? All right. So those are the winners, guys. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Let's go on and talk about Army of the Dead winning Best Fan Film Oscar. What? So Army of the Dead beat out Spider-Man No Way Home for fan favorite. And for lots of people, they were thinking that, what was it? It was going to be that Cinderella movie that was going to win this, the fan favorite. I don't know what the heck. See, this is why you can't trust the fans. Because part of this, I think, is trolling. And that's a bummer, because I didn't hate Army of the Dead as much as some people. I actually kind of enjoyed it, but I realized that, hey, it wasn't a very good film. But really over Spider-Man No Way Home? And this is why you can't trust the fans, because this reminded me of, you remember that year that they had the fans vote in the all-star players for baseball, and like the whole team of the Kansas City Royals was going to be on it? And they're like, no, we can't do that. And I think maybe the Oscars did this on purpose. I think they did this on purpose to look how foolish it is to let fans vote on something, because Spider-Man needed that recognition. And Pomo in the live chat says it should have been Dune or King Richard or Licorice Pizza to win Best Picture. But and then Zack Snyder got this, so he got recognition for Army of the Dead, and then he got recognition for the best fan moment in all of movies was, I guess, the Flash running in Justice League, which I just don't understand, guys. I don't understand that. It was up with moments like Neo doing the bullet time thing. Oh, and that's, again, I felt like it was attached to trolls. Like people found it. It's just, I didn't like it. I didn't like the way that went down, and it just kind of made a mockery of it, and it made it feel like they're probably not going to do that again. And they wanted to show us that, hey, if we're going to give you guys this chance to have some recognition for the films that you liked, and you put up things like this, then, because I think I couldn't have been the only one that was sitting there watching, oh, well, that's a cool moment from a movie. Wait a minute, the best moment ever is when the Flash started running in Justice League? What? That doesn't compute, man. That doesn't compute. Oh, and talking about one of my other favorite moments from the Oscars, and then we'll move on to the weekend box office before we get back to the bad story that everybody wants to talk about today. I am a James Bond fan, and I appreciated that 60 years of celebration montage that they had. I felt like that was probably my second favorite moment because I like James Bond. And it was just cool to see that all cut together like that. Celebrating all of the people in there. Okay. So, what did you guys think? Did you guys see that little promo bit? I felt like it was cool. Okay. Let's move on to the weekend box office report for March 25th through the 27th. Number 1 was The Lost City. Number 2 was The Batman. Number 3 was RRR. Number 4 was Uncharted. And number 5 was Jujutsu Kaisen 0 or O, the movie. Infinite Storm was number 10. And Everything Everywhere All at Once was number 13. And we'll talk about... That's a movie that... it's an indie film, but I want to keep my eye on that one. It's kind of like a weird abstract film. But let's go through the top 5. The Lost City had 31 million. The Batman came in second place with 20.5. RRR had 9.5 million. And we'll talk about that one for sure because that's going to be bigger internationally than domestically. Uncharted, 5 million. And Jujutsu Kaisen 0 or 0, 4.5. So let's take a look at The Lost City, and we forecasted this going into the weekend because the Batman had been at number 1 for the while there for like 3 or 4 weeks, right? And Sandra Bullock is always a draw, and I had a lot of fun with this movie. I really did. 31 million domestically is not bad. 3.7 internationally, so it's going to open up wider internationally this next week, and its worldwide total is right now 34.7. Guys, it was just a fun romp. It's nothing serious. It's not her best movie, I'll tell you that. But it was just a nice little release of kind of like of all the dark and brooding stuff. Just go watch that. It's got some laughs in there, and I enjoyed it. So let's talk about the Batman's numbers here, number 2. And I read some criticisms this week that people are saying, well, it's not a success. It's not a success with 672.8 million because it should be $1 billion. Guys, you got to remember, it's a 3-hour film. And I know that Endgame was a 3-hour film and that made more, but you gotta also remember it's a darker Batman movie, and I know people don't like to hear that, but it's not going to make $1 billion. But guys, guess what? It's a success. The Batman is 100% a success, and you shouldn't get caught up with the numbers because it's made profit, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the way that it's shaped up. It's going to have some spin-offs with the Penguin, and we're gonna have to see how that shapes up. So I'm happy with where that's gonna land. It's gonna probably round out somewhere around 750, I think, at the most. 750 million. RRR, a fictitious story about two legendary revolutionaries and their journey away from home before their country. Now I should have pulled up the trailer for this, but I really like the trailers for this. It's a movie out of India. I think it's. Wait, is it Telugu? I'm gonna have to take a look at that, but or it could be Hindi. It's probably Hindi. I'm not too sure, but it's 9.5 million domestically, and that's good. But it's international. The numbers are going to be huge because it's going to deal with the numbers out of India. So I wouldn't really worry about this one. I wouldn't consider this one a bomb. It's going to be huge. Let me see if I can actually pull up the trailers for this, because the RRR trailer looked phenomenal, and it's an action movie. And I did some trailer reactions to this on Mirror Domains India. Okay, so it's Hindi. I got a Hindi trailer here. I thought it was a Telugu movie, but maybe I'm wrong. Telugu. Okay, so let's. I'm not gonna show you the entire trailer because of copyright reasons. But we'll take a look at some of the shots, because I want to highlight this film because of the action in it. It's definitely holy commercials, Batman. So it's about this revolution that happens, but like the stunts in it look like they're phenomenal, and like the visual effects look like it's going to be like a top tier action film of this year. It's got Ram Charan, Ajay Devgn, Alia Bhatt, who was just in that other movie recently too. So it's kind of like these two people going up in this revolt in India, and some of the visual effects. I said, guys, RRR looks like it's awesome. So that's what that is. They do this kind of mythical retelling of things sometimes in that market, and it's totally worth looking at. I just wanted to highlight that and say, yeah, that's going to be cool. Check that out. All right, let's move on to Morbius, because that's something that's coming out this week, and we got all of those reports that it's not that good. But the director talks about the Vulture role and the post-credit scenes. Apparently Vulture's only going to appear in the post-credit scene. And once you start to unpack what's going on with this story and what's going on with this show that's not all that good, apparently, Morbius, they say here, Spider-Man does exist in this universe, Espinosa said, one of the producers. Morbius lives in the same universe as Venom, as Tom Hardy's Venom. So Tom Hardy doesn't exist, though, in Tom Holland's Spider-Man universe. This is the universe we saw Venom exit at the end of Let There Be Carnage and return to at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. So Morbius exists in the same universe as Venom, but then how is Tom Holland's Spider-Man Vulture in this? How's that happening? Well, that's where the post-credit scene comes in, apparently. Apparently, it's just all post-credit scene where we get to see him, and it's going to be like an alternate variant version of Vulture. And it's kind of like, oh, no, say it in. So if that happens in the theater, I'll stand up and I'll be like, ah! Because and it sounds like that's the way that it's going. Directed by Daniel Espinosa. Yeah, so he directed this. So Oh man, that sucks. It's just like, it sounds like they had no idea what they were doing. It sounds like they just threw things together on the fly, and it sounds like that's exactly what we're going to get. Let's take a look at some of these comments down here. With this movie, both Jared Leto and Michael Keaton will be played by characters from both DC and Marvel. For KKK, there are writing credits for Hindi and Tamil and Telugu dialogue. Okay, thanks. This movie is Odd Duck. Okay, so most people don't like this. Tell us about the cameos. The cameos are everything. No, they're not. There's not going to be that many cameos in Morbius. I don't think there will be any cameos, actually, to tell you the truth. Let's take a look at the tomato meter right now. Okay, so the embargo's not down yet. We don't have any reviews out yet for Morbius, but the early buzz was that the early buzz is that Morbius is not good. Jake Arts in the live chat says this is just so confusing. LOL. I wish they would keep things simple. Haha. Morbius, I mean, and the worlds exactly, and that's Jordan from Jake Arts guys. He's a big horror fan. He likes, go check out his channel if you like that kind of stuff. He does movie reactions and stuff. He's got a really good, I think he did Encanto, and people really like that. So if you like that, we're talking about the Oscars earlier today. Go check out his channel. He seems like a stand-up dude. Talking about people not understanding the properties. Let's talk about Metal Gear Solid. Oscar Isaac. We're looking for the story of the Metal Gear Solid movie. Now, we knew that Oscar Isaac was attached to play this character in Metal Gear Solid. And, guys, he says, we're climbing through the air ducts. We're looking for the story right now. And this was just a quote that he said at a Moon Knight premiere. And you can see that there. We're searching like Solid Snake for the story. And I'm not going to play you the clip, but that he just says that. And the reactions to it are justified. Let me show you. They're looking for the movie story. How about the games? Oh, wait, they don't care about the games like those who made the Halo TV series. Because, yes, you heard the reports about Halo, that apparently the guys who made it never played the games and didn't really care about the games, but they just wanted to cash in on the Halo name. That's exactly what it feels like we're getting with this Metal Gear Solid movie, which bums me out, man. That bums me out. And you're going to get somebody like Oscar Isaac to appear in it? Why can't you just go to the games and use the game storyline? Yes, you'll have to pay some guy royalties for using that story over again, but that's what people want to see. They want to see that adapted to the screen. Like when they adapt screenplays, like they just, from books or anything else, there's such a thing as adapted screenplays. Perhaps they should just look at the video game for story ideas. Maybe start with the original game, Metal Gear Solid, John says. Yes, exactly. Languishing in development, hell, that doesn't sound as cool, I guess. The story should be original story from the first game. And I hope that Hideo Kojima is creative producer on this movie. He's an amazing story writer, an action director. No, I thought I heard something about that. I thought I heard somebody from the games was going to come on to help with that stuff. But that's just the quick headline that it is. As more unfolds from this, I'll definitely keep my eye on it. Because this has been in the works now for a couple of years. It said that he was landing the role in December 2020. So this is the thing. Why does it take 2 years to adapt a script that's supposed to be not that hard to adapt? I don't get it. Just like the way that what happened last week with the sequel to Crazy Rich Asians. They're having trouble finding the story. It's from novels. What do you mean you're having trouble adapting the story? I don't get it. It just makes me a little bit flustered and angry. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. All right, I'm going to compose myself here. Let's talk about the Oscars last night, and let's talk about the fallout from the Will Smith story, because that's one that everybody wants to talk about. That's going to be the big story of the day for everybody across the board. Celebrities will condemn Will Smith for the Chris Rock slap at Oscars. Pure rage and violence. However, Tiffany Haddish said that it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Okay. I've had a night to sleep on this, and there needs to be some kind of corrective action against Will Smith for what he did. And I think a ban of some kind needs to be put into place. And I think there needs to be a contingency plan put in place for this. And we'll talk about this as we take a look at some of the quotes from some of the other people that weighed in. And this is going back to Snoogan's quote in the live chat saying that he didn't know that she had alopecia. Maybe he did, and I think it wouldn't surprise me that he did, that Chris Rock knew that, and that's why he said it. And when you watch the clips over again, and I'm not going to do a reaction to the clips, but when you watch the reactions over again, it looked like Will Smith was fine with it at first, and then when he looked over and saw that she was upset, that's when he got confrontational and did what he did. And I've seen it multiple times. It looks like he was smiling while he did it. So it looked like he was joking. But then when he went back to the chair and started swearing at him, that's when you knew it was on. So here's what I think should have actually happened. If he just sat in his chair and said, don't use her name, and just yelled at those obscenities, everything would have been fine. Because they could have bleeped that out. And that would have been fine. But as soon as he got up there and started walking towards him, the producers should have had their hands on the keyboard saying, "Get ready to block, guys! Get ready to block," because you can't have that happening. You can't see that on TV, and it undermines so much of everything that these people stand for, like no violence, and there is a racial component to this. Like there's the violence of two people of the same color attacking each other, which will get used by people on both spectrums of the political realm, and it'll just get used against them, and that's bad. And I was really disappointed in that last night, and that showed in my video and my reaction. I was just overwhelmed with disappointment. And it just kind of snowballed from there, and it just took away from all of the winners, right? It took away the flair and like the air. Actress Mia Farrow declared the incident Oscar's ugliest moment. It was just a joke. Jokes are what Chris Rock does. Exactly. It will most definitely go down in history as the ugliest moment in Oscar's history. And calling it the most beautiful thing ever. And apparently he was out dancing afterwards, Will Smith, and saying that it was the most beautiful night ever. I can't get on board with that, guys. I can't agree with that. And I'm going to tell you what what I would have done. Rob Reiner wrote, "There's no excuse for the Smiths' actions. Will Smith owes Chris Rock a huge apology." Yes, and he hadn't said that. He apologized to the Academy, but he didn't apologize to Chris Rock. There's no excuse for what he did. He's lucky Chris is not filing assault charges, which he could, but he's not going to. He's going to play ball. And I knew that because Chris Rock is a comedian, and he knew that he was saying something controversial, like he was trying to roast them. But when I heard the J.I. Jane, when I heard that at the time, I didn't draw that connection that it was meant to be about her hair. But I can see that. Sophia Bush says violence isn't okay. Assault is never the answer. And as I said, if he just sat in his chair and said, "Don't use my wife's name," and use those, don't effing use my wife's name, then everything would have been fine. But he got out of his chair. And it's something that you just can't do. Especially on live air. Now, what should have happened? What should have happened? Yes, Fuzz, in the live chat, I would have given the Oscar to Cumberbatch. And that's what exactly should have happened, because I think there needs to be some kind of measure put into place now for the Oscars. And I know a lot of people won't like to hear that. And you can call it whatever you want. Call it the Smith rule if you have to. But if you are involved in some kind of an incident where you have an altercation with somebody else leading up to, even in the last final moments up to the Oscar, like whatever happened there, if you get up on stage and assault somebody like that, then by default, the Oscar will be given to the next person who got the next highest votes. And the decision will be made just like that. And it should have been. And in a perfect world, what would have happened is that the lights would have gone down at the commercial breaks. Security would have come in and asked Will Smith and Jada to leave. And that's what should have happened. And if they still wanted to give Will the Oscar, somebody would have just come out and accepted it on his behalf. And that's it. Because I don't think they should have given him the opportunity to get up on stage and try to justify it somehow, because that was not justifiable. And if I were in the audience, when you looked at the audience, some of them were cheering, but I would have stood up in the audience and I would have turned around and turned my back on him while he was talking. That's what I would have done if I were there. They should install plexiglass to stop the next person. Well, the way that stage was set up too, yeah, Jennifer Murray in the live chat, they will have a backup plan going forward now. They have to, because they can't let that happen and they can't let that stand. So the way that the stage was set up, it was so easy for him to get up there just like that. I think what they need to do now, as bad as it is, they're going to have bouncers and people there standing to make sure that nobody does that anymore, that nobody can get up on the stage. You expect people of this caliber to not get up and rush the stage. You expect crazy fans to do that. And if Will Smith was the crazy fan, they would have escorted him out of there, and not in a polite way. And of course, Chris Rock is playing ball. He's playing ball. He knows he wants to try to smooth the waters, and that's the right thing to do. But Will Smith, if he wanted to do something, the men culture says that you have to stand up for your family. You got to stand up for your protect your own. But we're not living in the dark ages anymore. We're not living in times where it's okay to assault people just because you don't like what they say about you. If you really wanted to protect them, you stand up and you either turn your back on them, like I would have done, or you leave. You say, okay, we're not going to be in this situation anymore. We're just gone. And people can call you whatever. They can call you a wuss for backing down. But if that's the worst thing that they call you, then so be it. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't change your life. He's not going to lose work because of this. But if somebody calls him a wuss for walking away from a fight, he's not going to lose work because of that. But he may lose work now because he did this. Like, does anybody really want to go and watch King Richard now if you haven't seen it? Do you want to see anything more from, like, when he was, when Will Smith was doing his speech, and you can see it, my live reaction to that. I'll leave a link to that in the cards up above. When you see my reaction to it, I was not interested. I was not interested at all in hearing what he had to say. It filled me with so much disgust last night. After I posted my live reaction to it, it took me a couple of hours to calm down from that. It was a combination of being disappointed and being upset that we had to see something like that, because it goes down to those primal feelings that we have as men, and I'm sure that women feel this too in some capacity. But it's kind of like, as I said, that, hey, you can't say that about my family. You can't say that. I'm going to defend them. No what? See what I'm doing? It goes right down to those primal carnal urges that we all have. But you got to be bigger than that. We're not with that anymore. We can't do this anymore. Jennifer Murray in the live chat says, your assessment is spot on. A real man knows to show his strength and without violence. And yes, as soon as he did that, he showed that he was weak. And it reminded me of a scene out of The Godfather that I pulled, and I want to share that with you. I want to share that with you guys because I think it speaks a lot. There's a scene where Sonny is somebody in The Godfather who always talks with his emotions. He's very passionate, and he talks out of turn. And The Godfather talks to him and says, what are you doing? You don't tell people what you're thinking. You don't let people know your emotions, even when you're down. And I'm a poker player. So if you don't know that about my history, is that you never show people at the table your hand. And showing your disappointment or you're happy about something is showing somebody your hand without showing them your cards. And it just let me down a lot. And because I like Will Smith.
What's the matter with you? I think your brain is going soft from all that comedy you're playing with that young girl. Never tell anybody outside the family what you're thinking again.
Yeah, exactly. Never tell anybody outside of your family what you're thinking, because you gotta play it cold. You gotta play it, you can't be going around like that. And that's something that I thought of immediately. Glass in live chat says Jaden's tweet wasn't much better. Chip off the old block. Well, we're going to go through the Twitter roundup here in a little bit, and we'll address a little bit about that. I mean, he's your dad. You got to kind of stand with your dad no matter what, but you just don't announce it like what Sonny did in Godfather. You don't wear that on your... Hey, you just stand with him, but you don't need to make huge statements. TMT Gaming says, no, sir. No, sir to what? Okay. So... Jake Hart's Art said in the live chat, I would have gone up to Chris Rock afterwards and asked him to apologize to my wife after the fact. I would never have gone to the extreme by smacking him on the live stage personally. Yeah, and exactly. That's the way that you handle it. You either say, you tell him, please don't use my wife's name during that performance like he did, and then afterwards you go and you settle it. And it sounds like that's exactly what happened. They settled their business afterwards. So that's why Chris Rock never pressed any charges, because you'll see that in the articles that came out later today, and that the police have received no comment from Chris saying that he's going to do anything. So the Academy has responded by saying things like they don't condone violence. Here's a statement from them. The Academy does not condone violence of any form. Tonight we are delighted to celebrate our 94th Academy Award winners. We deserve this moment of recognition from their peers and movie lovers from around the world. And most people are not satisfied with this, because there does need to be some kind of measures put in place to make sure that this can't happen. And I would say that, okay, you can't have the stage accessible like that anymore, which means that you can't have people come down and walk up and accept the awards. Like something like a gate of something, somehow has to be put up. And then there'll be people standing there that'll open the gate and let people walk up to the stage. But you can't have people freely standing around like that. And here's the other thing that I would tell you. Get rid of the roasts. No more roasting type of humor. Okay? We don't need to see you make fun of somebody else for something. Just tell jokes. Normal jokes. You can totally be funny without trying to roast somebody. And I think they need to get rid of that element. I know they're trying to tap into certain things of like what Ricky Gervais did during the Foreign Film Awards. But yeah, you just can't do that. TMTJ Gaming says, if Will Smith came on stage slap, that's not a good idea. If my idea he came stage just to explain you talk was false, please stop. Yeah. I think he was going to, but the emotions got the better of him and the arm came out, because it didn't look like a full slap. Like it did look like it was a little bit pulled a little bit. Francis in the live chat says they don't condone violence, but gave an award to someone who just committed assault. And yeah, exactly. They can't do that either. And that's why I wasn't into listening to his acceptance speech at all. I wasn't. But there was a little bit of fallout from the other people in the Academy. I call upon the Academy, of which I'm a member, to take disciplinary action against Will Smith. Marshall Hershowitz says, he disgraced our entire community tonight, and he did disgrace it. If I were the producers of King Richard, I would be so upset right now, because he's damaged that film. Because there are going to be tons of people who feel like me, I don't want to watch anything from him right now. I don't even want to see his face. Like I was hesitant, and I'm not going to put his picture on any more of the thumbnails this week. This will be the last time I'm going to talk about this subject, unless something more materializes that progresses it, because this is the kind of thing that I don't like to talk about. This is ugliness. This is inviting unpleasantness into your life, and I don't like the way that it makes me feel. And I said that last night. It makes me feel weird. It makes me feel almost like I've done something, because I liked Will Smith in the past, and he made me feel this way, somebody that I respected, and I don't like it. I don't like it. And next year, I would say that he should not be invited back to the Oscars. So that's my measures. 1, he should not be invited back to the Oscars. And number 2, if you're not going to strip him from the Oscar, then you need to put in a place, a measure where if something like that happens, then by default it goes to the next person in line who had the next highest votes, because they go through voting stages where a certain amount of people will vote for something, and then they just count all those votes up. And somebody said in the live chat yesterday that, yes, they know weeks before who's going to win. So they can easily know who's going to be first and second. They can have the envelopes ready. They can have the statues ready for first and second. Because if something like that happens, you can't award them the opportunity to go up on stage and try to justify it. Because what he said in his acceptance speech was borderline vomitous. It was vomitous. And it hurt me to see other people nodding and applauding him. The people, yeah. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think should happen to Will Smith? And did you watch my live reaction last night? Because I think we went through a lot of the emotions there in that video. And I'm going to play some guitar on the way out here today, because I just want to wash away those bad feelings. That's what you have to do, guys. We see that something bad happened, made you feel weird. You got to try to cleanse that from yourself, because if you carry that and you let that eat away at you, it's not good for the soul. It's not good for the spirit. And that's why I don't want to make videos on this, milking this story, which people will do. I don't want to do that here on this channel. I talked about it last night. I talked about it today. And I think that's pretty much it. Unless something else happens where maybe Chris Rock changes his mind and wants to press charges, there's not much more else I can say about it, unless the fallout from it says that he's going to lose the Oscar. But I want to put this aside, and I want to put it down. I don't want to ignore it, but I just want to say that happened, and I don't want to carry that energy with me, because I don't want it to mar the rest of my day. I don't want it to mar my interactions with my family, with people in my circles. And it felt like this is going to taint a lot of people for the next couple of days. And I hope, if you're feeling bad about it, you guys out there, I hope you can work through it and just move on. Jennifer in live chat says, thank you for the analysis. I'm not a big movie watcher, so I probably won't be back to your channel, but I truly thank you for clear and calm assessment. Well, thank you, Jennifer Murray. And yeah, we talk about movie news on this channel. We do movie reviews, trailer reactions, and stuff like that. Horror movie news on the weekends. That's my bag. That's what we do here on this channel. And I do thank you for coming and hearing about some other analysis, because this is the kind of thing where the political sides are going to eat this up and pull at it. They're going to sensationalize this thing to the max, and you can go out there and bet your bottom dollar that there are going to be people screaming and yelling and calling for Will Smith to be canceled. I'm not calling for him to be canceled. I'm calling him to be banned from the Oscars. But I don't think he should be canceled from work and such. I just don't want to see any work from him right now. Yes, Fuzz in the live chat says Will Smith should be banned for life, because you just can't guarantee he won't do that again. All right. Let's move on to something that does make me happy. We'll try to pull ourselves back up, and I'll play some guitar on the way out. You know somebody who makes me really happy? Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift will receive an honorary doctorate from NYU and will speak at Yankee Stadium commencement. Cool. Taylor Swift Doctor. Dr. Swift. I like the sounds of that. New York University will award Taylor Swift an honorary doctorate of fine arts May 18th and will speak at commencement at Yankee Stadium. That's cool, man. That's cool. And she's great. She writes her own music. She fights for her own music, and she sings her own music. Like, you know, she doesn't use a lot of the what do they call that? Vocal correction stuff. I think she's awesome. And now that she's going to be a doctor and speak at Yankee Stadium, I think that's just really cool. I like that a lot. That does bring a smile to my face. Okay, let's move on to the Twitter roundup, or maybe we'll just go to the guitar. It's 12:50. Yeah. There's an image there of Northmen test screenings. Some audience member wrote, "You need to have a master's degree in Viking history to understand like anything in this movie." Oh no, that bums me out. Why do you need to have Viking history to understand what's going on in the Northmen? From the trailers, we just got the impression that it was going to be kind of like a revenge movie. Something gets wrong. He gets wronged by this army, and he's got to go out and get revenge. And you can't say no to Alexander Skarsgård's ripped abs. Something we're all envious of. Anya Taylor-Joy and Harry Styles were set to star in Robert Eggers' remake of Nosferatu. What? Were set, which was set to begin filming in Prague this spring, but Styles pulled out at the last minute to scheduling concerns. Arglass says in the live chat, maybe Taylor will win an Oscar next year. That would be cool. Anya Taylor-Joy and Harry Styles were supposed to be in a Nosferatu story. Huh. Wow. But Styles pulled out. I didn't mean to use that word. Okay, who do we got? Kirsten Stewart at the Oscars. Anya Taylor-Joy, Vanity Fair. Lady Gaga was at the Oscars too. So I liked, she was presenting with Liza Minnelli, right? Jacob Elordi and Rachel Zegler. You know, I didn't realize it at the time. Rachel Zegler's really short. She's going to be Snow White, and she's going to be really short with the dwarves. I don't know how that's going to work. She's going to be almost the same height as them. Madeline Klein at the Oscars. Lucy Hale. You know who looked good at the Oscars was, who did I like for dress-wise? She was just in that Pam and Tommy. Lily James at the Oscars. She looked stellar. Okay, so they're just going through the dresses. Zendaya was there. Okay. I don't need to go through the best dressed stuff. I think I'm just going to jam on my guitar and call it a day. Guys, if you want to see my reactions to the whole Fallout yesterday, it's on the channel. It's officially my best, most viewed video of the year, and I don't think I'll be able to top it. I was just happy that people came out and just like Jennifer said, I wasn't trying to embellish and sensationalize my response. I wanted to look at it in a very clear-headed way, in a responsible way. All right, let's play some guitar. Ooh, that sounds like the intro to Metallica. See, music, it does soothe the savage beast. Thank you for joining me on the Today Show, guys, and walking through the show. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll go back to the normal format of going through things rather quickly. Always follow me on the social media handles that you can find right there. And I'll see you on tomorrow's show. Thank you.